Hello guys, this is Miguel, and I have the pleasure today to introduce to you an amazing artist by the name of Jem. I just want to say thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to interview you.
Yeah, thank you
All
for
right.
having me.
Okay, so my very first question to you is, when did you first think to yourself that you wanted to sing and perform in front of people?
It took a lot of nerve and practice to get up on stage for sure, but once I actually officially knew that I was meant to do it was when I broke out of my shell so easily, and it felt fluid and it felt meant to be. Even though through all that build-up of nerves, it suddenly just went away when all the people were in front of me and I was just singing to them, enjoying the moment. On stage with lights, I just didn't care anymore.
Yeah, you know what, and I just want to add to that, I recently saw your performance, and I noticed that you're so comfortable on stage. Is that something that you were like pretty much naturally gifted at since that moment, or is it something that you had been working on since then?
Well, this is the thing, there is so much nerves and so much nervousness that goes on behind the scenes before I get up on the stage. The minute that I'm almost about to get up on stage, it's like a whole different person that you see when I've got the lights on me and I've got a microphone in my hand. It's like almost an act. It's almost as if I was acting, because if you were to talk to me before I was on stage, I was acting. It's like a whole different person.
So Jem, who's been your biggest supporter in your music career?
First is my mom, and then second is my grandma. My mom always thinks ahead business-wise because she's a marketing major. She always thinks way ahead, and she's always put me in the positions that I needed to be for me to flourish in music. She's been the one to break me out of my shell as such a shy young kid and put me into singing lessons, and I got the kinks massaged out of me and actually was confident enough to perform. I was such a shy kid. And my grandma was the one that was kind of like, alright, the performance was great, but you need a little oomph.
Yeah.
She'd be that type of supporter, but my mom most definitely.
My next question is, so you're here in Long Beach and you've been here for a few years, so where did that idea come from to move to Los Angeles from Australia?
My mom met a man. She really did. I mean, I've been performing since I was 7, and at this point I was 14, just coming back from a tour in China, and that was a huge deal. All of a sudden my mom springs this idea on me like, hey, how would you feel about America? I've never been to America. I've seen American shows, but shows are nothing like the actual thing. So when I got the idea to come to LA, it was more so my mom to come to Long Beach. She, like I said, she's my supporter. She thought of me during the whole thing. It wasn't just a man in the picture. She was like, okay, you'll be around producers and other artists just like you, and it's the land of opportunity. So she was, thinking of me while she was doing it, but it wasn't my plan to ever move and become this toy that spoke differently and that was treated like an alien to an American country. Like, I never thought of moving to America.
Okay.
It's definitely my mom.
And she had your career in mind when she made that move.
Yeah.
So what has been the difference between, in regards to the music business, between being in Sydney and being here in LA?
In the music business in Sydney, it's much smaller just because it is a smaller country. The whole entire population of LA is Australia.
Okay.
So think about how much space you have and how much more opportunity there is to shine in Australia, but there is less of a spectrum to boom out as a major artist. So as far as an Australian artist, have you heard any? Probably not. If you boom out here, massive. Just because there is such a huge platform here, and that's kind of the difference between the businesses.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, are there any Australian artists that you
I would
look up to?
Honestly, I don't really look up to any artists. I appreciate their qualities and what they bring to the world as artists, but you probably heard of the Veronicas.
No, sorry.
They're twins, and they're a part of a girl band type situation. They both play guitars. They're badass. But they moved to LA, so they're here now.
Great. So you were in an all-girl band.
Yeah.
So tell me, how was that experience?
It was great because I was amongst girls that were different. It was multiracial. There was a girl
Okay.
with red hair, there was a black girl, there was a Mexican girl, there was a white hair, blonde-eyed, soulful spice. So we were called Fine China, and we came up with an album. I learned how to produce and write, and knew that I had a gift of writing music, gained confidence in all that, traveled, performed. So it was like giving me a taste of what I wanted in the solo aspect.
Right.
Knew that I wanted to be solo, but as a 16, 17-year-old, I couldn't ask for more at the time.
Okay.
So it was fun. It was great.
So these girls were from Australia as well, or they're from
No,
different parts in the world?
all of them from the valley. I was just from land down under.
Oh, okay. So this is when you were here in America, like
Yeah.
you joined this group.
Yeah.
Okay. Or how were you identified to be one of the
One of the
band
girls?
members? Yeah.
It was manufactured. I auditioned, and the girls had already had their part in the group. They'd already been chosen, so I had the audition, got called in with the girls. They were like, well, how do you feel about Gemma? And they're like, yeah, we like her. It was rehearsals back to back from Long Beach to the Valley. My mom had to drive 3 hours commute there, 3 hours commute back. It was kind of nuts.
And at this point, how old were you when you joined this group?
I was 16 turning 17, and all the other girls were almost 21.
Oh wow. You were a minor.
I was a minor.
No, you were the baby of the group.
Yeah, so while they were
basically.
out clubbing, I was like, I'm gonna do my homework. Like,
Yeah, okay.
See you tomorrow at rehearsal.
So now that you're making music, and obviously you keep in count your Australian culture, who is your intended audience, or who do you sing to when you're out there performing?
I've found over the years, I've tried to get this question right and tried to understand my passion and who I really do it for, and it is for women.
Okay.
It is because I feel like women are the tastemakers, and they feel the most as individuals, just being emotional and all that. I touch women. And I also love men and just like flirty stage presence. That's definitely a part. It's not even a secret. But I sing to connect with the beauty of the feminine energy.
This is something that I deal with a lot. When doubt creeps into your mind, or when you feel down, how do you regain that drive and that focus?
Being spiritual, I have people around me that are sort of like angels, so whenever I do feel doubtful, there's people to be like, up all the time. So if I ever feel that way, I honor it and try and understand where it comes from, and sometimes I even get angry at the fact that it's just like, check yourself. Like, do you know what you have? Do you know who you are? Why are you thinking this? Like, I battle it every day, honestly.
These friends, are they like also in the music industry, or are these just friends that you've met?
They're weird and artsy and creative like me, but they don't do music necessarily. Their boyfriends or girlfriends do, but no, they're just people around me that kind of are there for support.
And so, speaking about creativity, so what is your creative process, or do you have a routine that you follow that allows you to tap into your creativity to write music, or do you have a source of inspiration?
A lot of it comes from within. I'm so grateful for phones to be existent, for voice memos to be able to record it. Because my ideas come from when I'm about to go in the shower. The most inconvenient times I come up with old melody ideas or this whole like track. So I have them all in my voice memos. From there, they're documented, and if a producer sends me a beat, I already have this library of stuff to go back to kind of match to that or do something with those. But that's the creative source, the core where it comes from. All those just raw ideas that I'll record, because they're kind of genius when you know what you're doing with it later on. You kind of flourish the whole thing.
Right. Okay. So you record your creative thoughts or ideas, right? And then later on you continue to work them. Do you process them, or do you just kind of like just write it down? You start.
In the past, I've done a lot of voice recordings with the band I was working with. Then later on, I'd get that song, and if that song didn't turn into anything that we'd perform or anything like that, I'd go back to my studio, record the whole song a cappella, and make something around it.
Okay.
Just from that voice recording of me just in my zone.
Getting ready to set your first release.
Yeah, my first debut single.
Can you tell me a little bit about that? About the debut song, why that song? And
So the song basically, it represents what I've been going through disappointment-wise in the past 4 years, and also represents my standard in which I'm holding for myself from here onwards, and that's the platform that I want to boom out with, because it reminds me of what standard I'm holding because of what I've actually put up with. So it's called All That Holy Water. It does have sexual double entendres because you gotta have that.
Yeah.
But it's basically saying to the guy or whoever I'm speaking to is just like, can you be all that? Can you do all that? Can you be all that I'm imagining? Does that person exist? Because if it doesn't, I don't want it. My girls and I are just gonna have a good old time. So it is a song where you can turn up to as well, and like I just feel like it's an everything type of song. So I've already done the music video, and I have yet to edit it. I do all the editing myself with the crew that actually worked with me on the music video. Very hands-on.
Okay.
So that's releasing soon. I'm very excited.
Yeah. And then, do you have like a favorite phrase or passage in that song? Like, what makes you say like, wow, like this is like.
Every section of the song, it makes you think. Okay, so the first line, alcohol is what? It's a depressant.
Yeah.
That's what people call it technically.
Right.
So I say, depressant in my cup, with you all on my mind. I've been up way too long. I need a break tonight. We riding in my whip. My baddies ride or die. My baddies are my girls. From yesterday's pain, they get in my head right. 'Cause all the time I think about you.
Nice.
But I can't lose no sleep about you.
Awesome.
It's cool.
Yeah.
And the chorus is a little more chill. It makes you do this.
Yeah. You know, and I saw you perform that song. And I was just thinking in my head like, wow. If you were to have some backup dancers, that would have been so amazing. Just to like,
oh my god,
that would have been so dope. Like just to see that, like just them dancing to your music. Because I mean, you know, it flows. You know, it has that. It does have that beat where you know you want to move with it.
Yes.
You know? And it was just like, if we would have had that, it would have been like, oh man, this is so amazing.
Right.
So you have that in your music video.
I did, and I organized 2 dances for the performance, but one of my friends, she's a little too stage frighty, and I wanted to push her and bust her out of her shell because she's so beautiful, and my other friend was down to dance. I was like, girls, just, I'll do the choreography, it's gonna be simple, I just need you. So I knew it needed that, but whatever. But the music video, yes, the music video has those 2 girls, and
awesome.
I made all of the designs, I made all of the fashion that everyone's wearing in the music video.
When are you set to release it?
I have yet to edit it, and editing
that's right.
is always a process of
right.
going back and forth and all this stuff. So I think it's beginning of 2019.
Okay,
it's looking
so
proper.
January?
Yeah.
Probably. Now, is that your own timeline?
January is my own timeline that I know for sure is going to be done because I will be traveling a lot.
Okay.
But my actual album Substance, the full thing, is February. Okay. So 2019 launches for real.
Okay.
So after these 5 years of teaching myself how to produce, I'm right here.
Jem, in a perfect world, where do you see yourself artistically 5 years from now?
5 years from now, artistically, not achievements, not anything like that. This is just like artistically my brain.
Yeah.
I'd love to be in a relaxed state of mind where I am one with myself, creating in a studio that is extremely huge and just going in with fly fashion that I've bought from my music every day. So basically supporting myself from my music that I've made and built up this repertoire of music where I know who I am through my music because so much has been built up. So in 5 years, I want to be able to walk through a room and be like, I am that musical genius. Like, I just want to feel like that from my music, but I'm just starting now. But that's who I see, like...
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. And I mean, like, your whole image as well, right? Like, you have your vision for yourself, right? Your fashion, and then your songs. That's great. That's great. And one last question.
Yeah.
Jem. So, do you have an Aussie nickname?
So, my nicknames growing up, so Gemma is my real name.
Right.
Dilemma rhymes perfectly with it, so it's Gemma Dilemma. And it fits because when I was 3 years old, I used to pour myself cereal, but not just a little bit, the whole box in a huge pancake sifting bowl.
What cereal was it?
It's Cocoa Pops.
Okay.
And just spilled it all over the floor. And Cocoa Pops are really freaking hard to pick up. So Gemma Dilemma is definitely one. I was in high school, and my gay best friend, he used to call me Gem Dogger.
Gem what?
Gem Dogga.
Okay.
Gem Dogga.
Gem Dogga. Okay.
Yeah.
And what is that? Where did that come from?
Literally his brain, because
Okay.
I'm not. I don't look like a dog. I don't have a demeanor like a dog. I don't know.
Okay. Wow.
Gem Dogga.
Okay. That's great. That's
So
great.
everyone in the US likes that. But I just Jemmy.
Jenny.
Gem.
Okay. So you said you shared your nickname to your friends?
Yeah,
which
at
one?
work.
Which one?
His name is Jay. He has the little mustache.
No, but which
Oh, Gem Dogga.
Gem Daga. Okay, great, got it. All right, great. Well, Gem, thank you very much for this opportunity once again to interview you. It's been wonderful. I love everything that you're doing, and for me, as a, I'm an aspiring artist, and the reason I chose to interview you is because you're doing the things that I want to do. So hopefully in the future, I'll be where you're at, and then you'll be, where you want to be at, and
Keep building each other.
yeah,
lifting
exactly.
each other
So
up.
definitely, even though like my music probably isn't gonna be like the same genre as yours, but still the whole creative process, making music, collaborating with other people. I mean, you're producing, you're recording, you're doing music videos. I mean, all of that's amazing, and I wish you the best of luck and much success. I know you will be there, you will get there, and yeah, thank you very much once again.
Thank you so much for having me. It's
All
been
right.
a pleasure.
Yes, great. All right, is that it?